Heyo, what's up everybody? It's your girl Rosalie. Welcome to the Ultimate YouTube channel. Why is it the ultimate one? Because we're all about music and psychology. Hey everybody, welcome to the Ultimate YouTube channel. It's your girl Rosalie. This is so freaking powerful. Guess what time it is? Let's keep this short and simple, but I had to come on here. So often we're stuck in our own little world, but it's all so much bigger than we realize. We're gonna keep the train rolling. Shout out today goes to Johnny from Broken Arrow. And we're gonna check out another Puscifer song, and this one's called The Remedy. I gotta start over. They're going in strong. It's mind-blowing to me how many projects Maynard James Keenan has, and the diversity of the various bands, from what the whole feeling of Tool, which is very different to what I'm seeing here with Puscifer. You guys told me how to say it and I'm still struggling. Let's listen again. Let's start over. Go. It's crazy how much drums can carry a piece. Those pants, that suit.
Trolls receive 86 cents.
The harmonies and the vocal stacking here is eerie, but so fitting. And that switch melodically now. So catchy, so artistic.
Isolators, no one misses these bitches. Receive stitches. Trolls receive 86 cents. Yes, we're being condescending. Yes, that means we're
stating the obvious.
talking down to you with all that racket from your lips are flapping. We assumed you didn't notice.
This is very interesting.
Isolators, no one misses these bitches. Receive stitches. Trolls receive
The lyric.
86 cents. You speak like someone who has never been smacked in the fucking mouth.
the collaboration here is beautiful. Her voice, the feminine, that angelic.
You speak like someone who has never been smacked in the fucking mouth. That's okay, we have the remedy. You speak like someone who has never been knocked the fuck on out. But we have your remedy.
This is so freaking artistic and profound. I am such a fan of Maynard James Keenan because of all the art that he brings to his music. Oh gosh, I really hope one day I get to interview him. I'm going to speak that. One day, I hope to interview him and have a conversation just about all the psychology and the profound messages behind his music. I'm going to speak that into existence and see what comes of it one day. I'm so impressed with the diversity of the various musical compositions beyond genre, right? Genre is sometimes a helpful word because it helps us label and identify, but then again, it also sometimes boxes us in. And so let me just say the diversity, the variety of his musical compositions from Tool to what he's doing here with Puscifer. And I love that alone. Very different than your mainstream music. And that's one of the things I appreciate about it so much. As an artist myself, as someone who writes songs and sings, sometimes I find myself, when I'm playing with melodies and songs, getting concerned that it's not too mainstream of a melody, right? It's maybe not your typical verse, chorus, and I'm feeling like I'm missing the basic catchy hook melodic structure of sorts. And so to see music like this, it encourages me to continue down a road of creation and curiosity and innovation versus thinking you have to fit some type of mold. I really love how everything flows together to such a beautiful song, but it's yet such a story telling and so profound, and it's not your verse chorus the end. The drums were legendary, the angelic voice, the contrast between the rasp and grit of his and hers, the cinematography and the whole arrangement of the music video, the guitar, the all the elements that came in were so unique I think is the word. It's just it draws me in because it's unique. But the lyrics are profound, and it took me on this ride where at first it made me think of phrases we often hear in growing up in the home. Things like our home, our rules, right? As long as you're under my house, you're going to do it my way. Bitches receive stitches, right? This idea of, usually we say snitches get stitches, but it's this idea of, to me at least, of abuse. And while obviously those of us who are parents understand that there are certain rules we have to enforce and that there is this dance between kindness and consideration, but also guidance and parenting, though many of us from certain generations know that a lot of times this message of it's our house, our rules also created a division between parents and children, in the sense that we've moved from you're supposed to be seen, not heard, and my house, my rules, to now people trying to navigate new waters as we've learned more about psychology and human development and the harm that some of these strategies can do. But it painted this picture of not so much of your average parent who's reinforcing rules and reminding their kids, hey, I'm your mom and dad, but more so of abuse. It's painted this picture of this man with his drink at the little kitchen table who may or may not be abusive towards his children, maybe towards the women. And that's the vibe that I was getting. And then, without just going into lyrics too much, then as it kept going, it made me wonder if the idea of I have a remedy for you is a double entendre here. For one, if you don't know what it's like, maybe he's the person who hands out the abuse and is hurting people and punching them in the mouth, if you will, but he's never been hurt like that. So here's the remedy. we can fix that, right? We're gonna come after you. We're gonna teach you a lesson. Could also be applied to the concept of the topic of bullying, right? This idea of these people that are mean and unkind bullies and abusive. They need to be taught a lesson. But then it also made me wonder if the remedy perhaps is, and this is where psychology comes into play, where people who are struggling with parts of themselves, that monster within, if you will, need to learn that, for one, they're accepted as a person with their good and their bad, but also that the question often is, what are you storing yourself? What are you storing to yourself about yourself? If you think you're a monster, you're going to act like one. And even if people tell you, no, you're not, and they try to build relationship with you and love you, you might think that they don't really see you. Because if they really saw you, they would see the monster and they wouldn't want to be around you. So surely they're either in denial or they're not willing to see the dark sides of you, which means they don't really see all of you. And that makes people often feel even more isolated and alone. If they have story to themselves that they are a monster, that's all that they are. If, however, I think people learn to accept themselves and they receive that type of message from people in their lives, friends, family, maybe a therapist, that person sees all of them, the good and the bad, and they're still accepted and loved, I believe that can sometimes contribute and be a remedy towards healing and through therapy, ideally, and this takes time to assess what is my identity, what have I storied myself about who I am, and can I accept all of me? And perhaps also find healthy ways to deal with it. So if there's this desire to be in control, cause harm, dominate someone, maybe the remedy would be to put on that wrestling suit and to go fight in a ring. Use that to laser focus it and direct that energy, that aggression, that anger, that monster within towards something else, like the fighting ring. That's kind of how I took it. This idea of the story can go different ways. You can be this sad man at your kitchen table who's looking through a scrapbook of his dreams and what he wants to be. Maybe this was his childhood dream and he was collecting ideas of all these wrestlers that he looked up to, all those heroes, right? There was different names and wrestlers listed and pictured. Maybe this was a young boy, a man who once a young boy had dreams and aspirations, but he now became this figure of aggression and power and sadness who is now letting out his anger on the innocent and the vulnerable, the women, the children, right? He's taking all these unfulfilled dreams and this lack of feeling useful and worthy and special and heroic, and he's now directing it in the wrong way. And maybe the remedy would be for him to put on that hero suit and to be what he used to dream he would be and he could be. Is the message here also that once he does that, he's going to learn a lesson and he's going to realize that he isn't the strongest and that there's plenty of people that could whoop his butt. Different ways we could take that, right? But I think there's something to be said psychologically about the idea of looking at all of ourselves, the good and the bad, the dark sides, the light, and assess what are we storying ourselves and working through that with someone who sees and accepts us and all of those parts. The lyrics say, our home, our rules, respect them, or bitches receive stitches. Stick around if your house broken. Can't hold your ish, hold your tongue. So stick around if your house broken. House broken is a term for animals, pets, dogs, who know how to go outside if they need to go pee or go poop. So you can stick around if you're well trained. Can't hold your ish, hold your tongue, you got to go. Okay, so if you are good and obedient and well behaved, you can stay. Seen and not heard idea. My house, my rules. But if you are messy, you got to go. And I think for one, wounded people that grow up and become parents will continue to reinforce that message towards their children, and it perpetuates a generational cycle. And at the end of the day, no excuse for the adults who keep abusing and causing harm. They need to take responsibility and get healing and help. But unfortunately, those patterns continue because this adult now never healed their childhood wounds and learned that from their past generation, possibly from their parents and grandparents, and it's now passed on. And it beyond the picture that's being painted of an authoritarian parent who may or may not love their kids and is just all about control and obedience, and I'd rather have a well-behaved dog than a child that's a person. Beyond that thematics, I do see this principle, again, on a deeper level that goes beyond parenting and abuse and a lack of seeing one another as individuals, including our children, who are just as much people as we are. I think the thematic that I'm seeing here also is this battle within oneself to think that we need to be these perfect put together people that are housebroken, that know the rules, that hold their tongue, that hold their ish together. And if we dare let anyone see other parts of us, the dreams we have to be a wrestler, the dreams we have to be a hero, the way he put on that cape was such a contrast to picturing some sad man who was just abusive and unkind and drunk. It was a contrast there. And I think that there's something in us that thinks we have to hold it all together. And if we let people see those parts that are not put together, will they really stick around? And ironically, I think people who are around us, they long for exactly the same thing. They wish that they would be safe to really be who they are. And so we end up all hiding behind our own walls. Me going, I don't know how vulnerable I can be with you because you may judge me. You being hesitant because you don't know how I will perceive you. And now we have a bunch of lonely people at their own kitchen table, sitting alone, reminiscing about their dreams of old and wishing they can put on a different persona, maybe be a hero, maybe be strong and a wrestler, and maybe being abusive and hurtful towards the weaker because of their own insecurities of feeling inferior or less than or not strong enough, wishing they could be strong and tough, deep down inside knowing I'm nothing. I think there's many people who are causing harm who, if they were to have an honest conversation, actually feel really weak and small inside. And that is no excuse to cause harm, but it's a conversation about our humanity and this desire in the worst of mankind to be seen and accepted. But again, what are you storying yourself? Are you capable of even receiving the love that some people might want to give you if all you've told yourself is that you're a monster? And if they show you love, then surely they don't see you fully because they're missing the monster part and they must be in denial and something's wrong with them. And, the reverse psychological approach at looking at the world versus assessing how am I storying myself things? How am I thinking about life? Haters, isolators, no one misses these. Interesting as well, because to me, this is true. I think a lot of people that are not living their upstandish life or that are mean and haters and isolators and trolls, no one really misses them. Nobody will say, oh no, the bully is gone, right? We're relieved when bad guys lose. We're relieved when the bully is gone and the isolator is gone. But ironically, I think, again, there too, a lot of these haters, isolators, and bullies, not to excuse their bad choices, but to point out they too are looking for someone to fully see them for who they are. They too wish they could be somebody, and they're going about it the wrong way. They're being haters and isolators versus putting on a wrestling suit and working it out in the right way, or putting on a hero cape and using that energy to make something new of themselves. Different ways we could take this. We're being condescending, and even hear the lyrics being sarcastic, condescending towards the abuser, towards those who are living these types of lives. That's how I'm perceiving it. We're talking down to you with all that racket from your lips flapping. We assumed you didn't notice. Oof. So this is this double entendre to me of calling out the haters and saying, hey, there's always going to be someone tougher than you. You go ahead and keep hating and being a bully and an abuser. No one's going to miss you when you're gone. You've never experienced what it's like to have done to you what you're doing to other people. Though I would disagree with that, because realistically, a lot of people that end up being domestically violent probably have experienced that as children themselves. There's a lot of times these generational patterns we see. But that aside, to me, it's this, on one hand, this idea of we have the remedy. We're going to teach you a lesson. It's also from the perspective of the hater and isolator going, show you what's up. You better listen. This is my house, my rules. But then also the relational dynamic of saying, hey, what are you going to put on? Who are you going to be? You're going to put on that costume. Is it just a costume and a facade and a mask? Or is it an alternative identity you could possibly take on and be somebody else? So many different ways to take this really profound song. Thank you for this suggestion, Johnny. Appreciate it. Amazing song by Puscifer. Go check them out. Subscribe here. I'll see you on the next ride. Hey, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you on the next ride. Heyo!